Hello heroes and villains, and welcome to the Build Phase channel, helping you build a better turn. My name is Danger Ford, and I'd like to welcome you to another video. This video is the week 1 recap for spoiler season. Everybody better get on the hype train. So today I'm going to review the cards and just talk about them a little bit, but not too much. There's a podcast coming up from the Build Phase. It should be coming out soon. Mr. Ben is taking duties on that. So, if you want to complain to anybody, you can complain to him. Otherwise, there is a plethora of articles and blogs and other podcasts from all the other members in the community, and I will make sure that I link to all of those down below in the description. So let's get right into it. The very first cards that were released was by UDE on their Upper Deck blog. First off, we'll just get into yet another errata, or a nerf, some people might call, but Team Build Phase has already got this covered, guys. Cosmo got neutered. In a way, I suppose. He keeps the same stat lines, same health, same range and everything, except his nullify ability has been changed to when Cosmo appears, choose an enemy character. It loses and can't gain keyword and superpowers this turn. So yes, he no longer matters after that particular turn. Unlike back in the day, or I suppose right now, for the time being, I suppose they've mentioned that Cosmo is banned, but most people aren't taking it into effect just yet. If you are, then let me know, because I'd like to see what a world is like without Cosmo. Anyways, yeah, in some ways he's been nerfed. Neutered. In other ways, he has been kind of redirected. He seems like more of the traditional Singularity combo. He seems to work a lot better with her now, because you can actually phase him out into the pocket dimension and he comes back as a new character, and since he's appearing, he gets to do it all over again on somebody else. Granted, that's only on your turn. Some people have mentioned that he works really well on your opponent's turn if you were able to use Dramatic Entrance to pop him into play and nullify somebody and then leave. So I thought that was a pretty neat way of getting around that. Okay, the next card that was spoiled by UDE is Thor. Yes sir, we got our new main character for the Avengers. He has flight. He has a 1/4 with 6 health. He has the Berserker keyword, which by the way, it seems like all the new main characters have at least one keyword. Well, not at least, has one keyword on them, as well as their other abilities. Berserker is an amazing ability for Thor. It means that he gets to place a +1/+1 counter on him every single time he attacks. That is so cool that he continually gets these counters. I really think that another thing that this Legacy set is trying to push is more ways to do counter generation. So his level 1 ability is Lightning Strike. During the main phase, pay a blue, put 3 -1/-1 counters on an enemy character. Nothing new there. He actually already does that with a supporting character. So we'll move on to how he levels up. Worthiness is a 7 experience, and when a good character on your side attacks, Thor gains an XP. That shouldn't be too hard. Actually, that's a pretty awesome level up ability just because it actually relies on yourself. I've always really tried to stay away from the kind of main characters where your level up condition kind of relies on your opponent. Sister Grimm is kind of one of those, although, in order to win, you still have to stun that Sister Grimm, so there is that. But you get to control the pace of the game. With Thor, that's not necessary. His level 2 ability is during the main phase, pay green and double the +1/+1 counters on Thor. You may double the -1/-1 counters on another character. This is amazing. I mean, you get to add and subtract all at the same time. That's so cool. He also becomes a 5/5 when he levels up. So some of the shenanigans that I've heard, Doctor Strange, the supporting character on the Avengers, it would be really neat to see him use his ability to make -1 counters actually turn into +1 counters for them, which I thought was a really neat idea. Say maybe doing it on an Iron Man supporting character if you're going for the mono team, which it seems like they're kind of trying to do that with this Legacy set. They're trying to push the idea that mono teams can be a viable deck build, and I like that. I think it will help put some variation into deck building that will give us some difficult choices to make. So moving on, we have, also on the daily metagame, I want to mention that there is a nice article by Ashley Knox. He goes into more detail on the board, so I will leave that link in the description down below. Check it out. Alright, the next one I'm going to go over is also from Daily Metagame. It is the Ultron main character. Yes, that's right. Okay, so his level 1, he has flight and range. He's a 3-1. Stat block is exactly like his supporting character, and a whopping 7 health, just like Dark Phoenix. His keyword is Swarm, which means that he can have any number of him out. Iterate. During the build phase, pay a yellow, put a supporting character named Ultron from your hand or KO pile onto your side. That is a really interesting idea. I'm hoping that they actually reveal maybe another Ultron supporting character, because it would be really neat if there was kind of like maybe a Mary Walker type idea where you had, 4 different types of Ultrons that maybe had different abilities or maybe even different number drops. His experience level up is all of you against all of me. At the end of your turn, Ultron gains an experience for each character on your side named Ultron, and it includes himself, which means that if you don't bring out any Ultrons whatsoever, he will automatically level up on turn 6. That's pretty freaking late. He is incredibly squishy too. So this card, it doesn't really impress me too much, but I think it could be something really fun in at least a kitchen table scenario. So when he levels up, he becomes a 6-2. Again, that defense is really squishy. I don't know. I heard the Team Attack crew talking about using Trickster God to switch it. That's a really sneaky and interesting way of countering that. So his level 2 ability is also during the build phase, Reiterate. Pay a blue and put up to 2 total supporting characters named Ultron from your hand and or KO pile onto your side. Again, I like the flavor of he's just multiplying, so his level 2 ability is multiplying off of his level 1. I also think it's really cool that if you have the yellow and the blue to spare, you could have 3 other Ultrons out on the board, which would be amazing. And just so that you guys know, Ultron's supporting character is a 4-drop, same stat blocks. He has 1 health. He also has Swarm, and then he has Replicate during the build phase. Pay a blue and search your deck for a copy of this character and put it into play. Then shuffle your deck. So you can really build some things up there if given the opportunity and having the right resources to do so. Okay, next up we have our one-eyed Boy Scout, Mr. Cyclops himself. He is a ranged 2-5 with 5 health. He has the leader ability, which allows him to decide who the opponent strikes back into. He has battle tactics for his level 1 ability during the main phase. Pay a red, move a character on your side to your front or back row. That's kind of cool, I suppose. It could help out in situations, especially if you wanted to range attack, and then he's got a somewhat beefy defense for a level 1 main character, so maybe move him back up to the front so that you can protect some characters. His level up condition is Homo Superior. He needs 5 experience to level up, and when a X-Men supporting character appears on your side, Cyclops gains an XP. So the most interesting combo that I've heard to level up Cyclops is to use Singularity on turn 3 to facilitate a level up on turn 4 by phasing the X-Men characters out and bringing them back in. So I think that's a pretty interesting idea. So when he levels up, he gets, during the main phase, pay 2 blues, stun an unprotected supporting character other than Cyclops or Havoc. This is a bit expensive. I suppose it also depends on what Havoc does, because that is kind of a reveal within a reveal, So right now it seems kind of lackluster, but who knows? Maybe there's some synergy with the new X-Men cards, or particularly with Havoc, that makes this pretty viable. As of now, though, kind of a lackluster main character in my opinion. So that was on the Popper Tim website, and there is also a podcast with the Team Attack. It was their very first spoiler reveal for this spoiler season. And then if you go to the Daily Metagame website, you will see yet another article by Ashley Knox on this character. Moving on, again from Daily Metagame, we have Elekra. So Elekra is a 3-4 with 5 health. She has the keyword dodge, which is the same as Daredevil, which is that you cannot be struck from ranged combat. Her level 1 ability is Ninja Training. During the main phase, pay a red. Elektra gains Stealth this turn. That's pretty interesting because Stealth is in bold print, which means that she gains another keyword. So that's pretty interesting that we just got a new keyword to utilize. Hopefully we'll be seeing some characters, some supporting characters that have stealth as well. Stealth means that she can melee attack back row characters even while they're protected, so it gets around all those pesky flyers and people with grab. Assassination is her level up condition. She needs 2 of those, and when Elektra stuns an enemy back row defender, she gains an XP. Again, this is something that the opponent can dictate a bit, the flow of the game, although it's kind of a double-edged sword because you do have to put those characters into the front row, which means they're unprotected and more likely to be attacked on. So her level 2 ability is during the main phase, pay a yellow, put Elektra into your owner's hand, and set aside any counters on her at the start of your next turn. Put her onto their side with those counters. She becomes a 6/7 stat. So this is a really interesting ability. I like the idea. I like the pun with calling it hand experience and being able to just bring her into your hand. The odd thing about it though, there is an alternate win condition for your opponent, and I find this pretty silly, but I like it. The fact that if you, I don't know, if there's a supporting character of her, you wouldn't want to power her up, because if Satana's on the board, then you could pay the blue and you could make your opponent remove all characters with the name Elektra from the game. And if your main character is in your hand, you've got to do it. Other characters that could do stuff like that is Helmet Zemo and Ronin. It's just a really interesting idea that there's an alternate win condition there, but not for you. Not for you. Okay, the very next one is possibly my favorite card out of the spoilers so far, and it's Singularity. I really like her supporting character. I'm a big fan of the appear effects, although I'm starting to get a little burnt out on it, I have to admit, because every single deck that I seem to build has some sort of variation of Singularity, or I suppose just all the appear effect kind of characters, which there are many of. So her level 1, she has flight, and she's a 0/4, no attack whatsoever with 5 health. She has Inspire, which, if people recall, is the 3-drop Captain America, which means that any characters that appear on your side immediately get a +1/+1 counter. Envelop is her level 1 ability, and it's a reaction ability. She spends the blue, and when a supporting character on your side gets KO'd, put it into your hand. The Team Attack crew actually mentioned that an interesting thing about this is you can kind of do a tutor with Pixie by, you're not really searching, you're just revealing characters until you reveal a character that's not on your side, and then at the end of the turn you have to KO that character, where you can spend another blue to make sure that you have that character for a later turn. So her level up condition, find her friends, she only needs 1 of these, and at the start of your turn, if there are 5 or more characters with the same team affiliation on your side, Singularity gains an XP. That's a pretty difficult level up to fulfill, in my opinion. It means that you either want to do Swarm, which I immediately thought of my good old Xenomorphs, or you want to have characters that you think you can stall and keep on the board and survive, because they need to survive if they are, even if they have 2 health and they stay on the board, it says at the start of your turn. And at the start of your turn, if you're stunned, then that character does not count. It does not say anything about Singularity not being one of those characters in the team affiliation. So, yet again, another mono team build could be very viable. Her level 2, she becomes a 0/7. Again, no attack. That's so crazy. We could be seeing a main character, well, we're not could. We are now seeing a main character who on her own won't be able to attack anybody, and if she can, then she's not going to be attacking for very much. So I honestly think that her stats should be a little bit more pumped up than that, like maybe a 6 defense for her level 1 and about a 9 for her level 2, and it would make her a little bit more viable, especially because she's kind of, I know it's the average amount, but she's kind of squishy with only 5 health, especially since she can't attack. But her level 2 ability, Gravity Vortex, during the main phase, pay the yellow, put an enemy supporting character into its owner's hand. So that's really cool. It lets you take away that pesky Thanos that's in your way, so that your characters can do their business. And yeah, the Thanos is going to come back, but at least you got him away, and that could mean everything in a game. That could mean the difference between winning and losing that particular game. And this was also revealed to you by Popper Tim. I can't remember if I mentioned that before. He also shares a Team Attack episode with all the guys talking about it. Okay, and our last article of the week is yet another Upper Deck blog article. The very first one is quite possibly the best card that's been revealed as of now, and it is Jessica Jones. She's a 3-drop with flight and 4/3 and a whopping 3 health. She has tough, which if people recall is the same thing that Miss America has on turn 5 in the Air Force. When Jessica gets stunned, you may recover her. She still gains a wound, so she is a very good defensive blocker. She also has psionic protection, and this is where she becomes super interesting. Enemy players can't use yellow superpowers, so Academy superpowers. That's amazing. That shuts down so many people. It shuts down Dark Phoenix. It shuts down Star-Lord. Just off of the top of my head, I'm of course blanking on many things, but one of the funniest interactions that I came across was that she stops Luke Cage from calling his boy Iron Fist, which is so hilarious. It's like, no, you're not gonna hang out with your friend, you gotta hang out with your lady. So yeah, nobody's laughing. I know, it's just me. Anyways, moving on. The last card that's being spoiled is Crystal. She is an A-Force character, 6-drop, 5/5 with 1 health. Not a very big 6-drop on her own, but she is the Elemental Master. Crystal has the following for each basic location type on your side. When you have a laboratory out, she gains flight. When you have a training ground, she gets range. A fortress is out, she gets +5 attack. An academy is out, she gets +5 defense. So if you have all 4 of those locations out, then she is a flying and ranged 10/10. All of a sudden this 6-drop just got pretty awesome. Yes, it's a double-edged sword. It means that you have to really consider whether you want to spend the blue or spend the green in order to lose her +5 attack or flight. But I believe it was Theo mentioned that you could use this as a tricky card with Build the Better Turn, which you can play during the combat phase and flip over whatever card you need to get the defense so that she doesn't stun, or get the attack so that you can stun her back, or the range so that while she's in the back row she can stun back or strike back. While this card may not be the greatest spoiler in this set, I really like the mechanics behind it, and I hope to see more of this in the future. So that has been your recap for the first week of spoiler season for the Versus system. If you're interested in continuing the discussion, feel free to leave a comment down below. I try to make sure that I answer folks straight away or as quickly as I can. So especially if you have any questions about any of these cards or the interactions with particular cards that are already out. And then also, if you can hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. Please spread the word, because we need your help to make this community grow bigger, and that's part of the way that you can do it. Spread the word, tell everybody about this YouTube channel and all of the websites that are out there, the blogs and whatnot, because everyone's doing their best to create this content for you and really get you excited for all the things that are about to come out. So if you'd also like to continue the discussion about anything Versus, then please feel free to visit our website at thebuildphase.com. If you have any sort of feedback that you'd like to give me or suggestions, then you can email me at contactus@thebuildphase.com. Other than that, thanks for listening. This has been Danger Ford, and have a good day.